ASA 10-4-6. Notice of the time and place of this meeting was given by way of an annual meeting notice to the Star Ledger, Courier News, and the Home News, and is posted at Borough Hall. Please stand for a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor McCoy.
Here.
Council President Conahan.
Here.
Councilwoman Clark. Here. Councilman DeSenza.
Present.
Councilman Doty.
Here.
Councilman Griggs. Councilwoman Quinn. Here. Interim Administrator Geist.
Here.
Interim Deputy Administrator Liddell.
Here.
Attorney Corsini.
Okay, moving down the list. No presentations, no appointments, no proclamations. Introduction of the budget. Okay. It actually takes the form of a presentation tonight. I'm going to put it up here. I would expect that later in the week that the individual line by line will be up. We should have it back from the state by then, maybe. Usually within 48. And if not, we'll put up the one that we submitted, and then we'll just change it when it comes out. This presentation will be put up there. All right, let's start with some of the basics. What's municipal budget? It's right there. It's a legally binding document. It's a financial plan. It balances our wants and our needs, our revenues against our expenditures. It's a policy document. They say that. Basically, it is for us. Because what we do is that how we run the town is basically driven by the budget. And what it enables us is it's good for financial controls. It's a good way to make sure that at the end of the year, you can account for surprises. Hopefully there aren't any, but there are always some that pop in there. And it's a good way to ensure that you're in a good position to be financially stable moving forward. Unless you have a bad budget, of course. We have been very careful to avoid that. So let's talk about the municipal piece of the taxes. Everyone gets the bill. No one likes a bit of it. 30% is what we're talking about. All right? 16% basically for the county, which when I was looking back, I got to tell you, the county is probably the most significant increase over the past few years. I remember going back, it was probably, and Dave, you could probably answer that, 10 or 11 was usually kind of the norm. And I'll have more to say about that later. All right. So we all know, well, we sort of know what the county provides. We know what the school is. Everything else is what we have to do over here. And some of these are two words: police department. There's an awful lot that goes into that. All right. We have a fire department. We have the OEM. We have the library. We have sewers, garbage, bulk pickup, recycling, construction and code enforcement and compliance. I mean, a big one, which is probably the last one on the list, federal and state regulatory compliance. I can't begin to tell you how much time we spend on, they send a little document, one little line, take hours and hours and hours just to get past that. But here's just a look at everything else. And this is, not every town or borough has all of this stuff. Board of Health, we have a community pool, we have a bunch of recreation programs, we have senior programs. I mean, there's a laundry list, and I kind of cobbled this down because I wanted to stick to some of the majors. There's a lot of little stuff that goes on, that gets on involved with this. I mean, many people around town know that, you know, we have a storm, we get picked up. They're out there, they're going overtime, we have snow, it disappears, it gets taken care of. You know, we have a big tree goes down, and there's other stuff that goes along with it. Our buddy Dave over there, he knows. The tree came down, wrecked his front yard, ruined the sidewalk. You know, it took a little bit of time, but the stuff was fixed. So how do you pay for it? This is the fun part. Revenue sources. Number one, property taxes. That's where it all starts from. All right, we have pilot programs, we have state and federal aid, we have grants and formula-based aid. Formula-based aid is basically what we get from the state. That's our state aid. I'm not happy to announce that we get another year. So that makes probably the better part have. What that means, and that comes back to bite us, and I'll explain that to you a little bit later. Fees and licenses, fines and penalties, and local taxes. We really don't have a heck of a lot of that. That's like getting cannabis money or stuff like that. That is going to buy a pack of cigarettes at this point in time, but yeah, door licensing. So then we have to do expenses. All right, we have to pay for personnel. Probably the single biggest thing. All right. Then we have pension contributions, payments for police, fire, which is just the low SAP only, and employee. We got operating expenses like maintenance, fuel, utility costs, which everyone knows. Utilities have not been kind to us this year. Okay. Debt service. That's how much we have in debt. And what we debt service basically is how much interest you're paying on the loans you have sitting on out there. That's why a lot of times when we see that we go out for new bond payments and refinance and all the rest of that, that's because what we're trying to do is reduce the amount. It's like debt consolidation. We're trying to reduce the amount that we have to pay on an ongoing basis for that. And sometimes it has break. And things get paid off, the loan goes away, debt service drops, and there's that much less that you have to pay. I will talk about our debt ratio a little bit later. I have to say, just to take a little trust over it. The target is 1%. We're at 0.7. So we're considerably lower. And I can tell you, if you look at our neighbors, we're way lower. So we're doing pretty good in that department. And then there's statutory expenses, stuff that we don't have any control. We just are required to pay, and we do. And probably, we talk about the reserve for uncollected taxes. That's just a function that you require that. In the business world, you always have that as a reserve. And also the library. We don't get a chance to discuss like how much we're going to pay for it and all the rest of that. That's a mandatory state formula. That's how that arrives at. So, where are we at? Our budget, $26.494 million of total expenditure. We had an increase of $1.629 million from 2025, and $1,195,000 has to be raised by taxation. It's a 3.8% increase. Another side to this. This is only raw expenses. All right. Some of the key expense factors. You've heard it. You've been to the schools. You heard the same tale of woe. $1.1 million in health coverage. I have to tell you guys, this would easily have been over $2 million if we didn't redo the health care, not once, twice. And because the state actually started, we applied for the second one last year, right around, I think it was right around Christmas. Day after Christmas, okay? We originally got back a denial. We weren't going to accept it. A lot of other people investigated for much bigger fish. They couldn't take the small fish. They wouldn't take the big fish without taking the small fish. They changed their mind and recanted. All right, and then they did let us apply, which we did. And starting June 1st, we're going to have a new plan. But 2 months delay. All right, 2 month delay, $200,000. That is, I wouldn't say it's money that we could have saved. It's money we wouldn't have had to spend. That was clearly 100% out of our hands. There's still a lot of towns that they're trying to get it all done now. We're well past that. $575,000 in grant expenses. All right, that shows up as a line. It showed up as a line because you had to have a place marker for grant money that we did receive. Its offset is on the revenue side, so it's there. Where I don't want to play fancy accounting and start counting these stories. That's part of the 1.6. It shows up that way, but it's offset on the other side. All right. $200,000 in staff costs. Okay? That's an increase. That's what it was first. But I just want to explain that $168,000 of that are mandatory in person. All right. So what wound up happening is that out of $200,000, roughly $30,000. How we did that is that we have a staff reduction. We have positions that were full time that are going part time. We have positions that are not going to be filled. I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh, we just cut everybody out. This is attrition. People are leaving. We're not replacing. I mean, we may, but for right now, for this year, with the issues that we have, until we can get maybe a full year of healthcare under control and all the rest of that, it's just not in the cards for this year. 40,000 other insurance increases. You know, that's from the gym and all these other little insurance things that we have, and $40,000 in utility increases. That does not include gas. You all know how that's going. That's going to make that number a little bit harder to do. Because let's see the pumps out there, they're being used. But we're confident that we're going to control our costs, and hopefully with some of the health coverage savings that we see, because part of it on the health coverage, I have to tell you guys, is a yes. It's staggering. Because you have to assume how many people are going to go to the full run of the company. That's part of the high deductible plan. You know, you can pay cash out, but how much you really don't know. So they tell you, they give you a range of numbers that you should do. And I believe we are at 70%. Okay. Which is a little on the aggressive side, maybe a little conservative. Honestly, we don't know. But we're hoping that we're going to be okay. All right. Key revenue factors. State aid increase, like I said before, 0. Thanks a lot. All right. Our efforts with grants, redevelopment, fees and licenses, and the fines and penalties helped us to the point where we completed $400,000 less. So there's a lot of effort that goes in there. It's a quick slide to say that, but there's a lot of work that goes into trying to get these grants. We've never been so aggressive in our life over all these grants. And, you know, Bruno and Associates and Alexa, they've done a good job for us, and they continue to do a good job. You know, and we look at all the opportunities. I know Lenny has a big one out there for about $700,000. And that's not the streetscape. The streetscape is something different. Right? So that's another big one. All right. Now, these are some important notes. Despite the staffing cuts, we don't anticipate any reduction in services that we have. None. That means that people are working harder, and you know, it's good management. To be quite honest, I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that at least, you know, in the short term, the way it's been, that our VA and our interim deputy VA and both of these guys have done a really super job of staying on top of what people are doing, where they're going, and you know, I think in terms of their follow-up, it's been phenomenal. I know even for like Carolyn, you have to admit that we're on it right now. We're reacting to people. We're addressing problems, which is what we're supposed to do. We want to talk about the sewer. It's still a big issue out there. It's still included right now. Garbage is still included. Nobody, I think there's 2 towns in the whole county that actually have it included. We're one of them. All right. This is a biggie. $46,000 in surplus. All right. Sound like a lot. These guys all know I would love to put in a lot more, but we have to be reasonable. What I have to tell you, just as a note, you guys are paying attention to the news. New Jersey, the state of New Jersey, has tried to pay $1 billion surplus. Maybe their budget balance this year is 30% of their surplus. much as they're preaching the good name, they're actually doing the exact opposite. They're living on borrowed time. They actually had an article out there, I believe the chief sent it to me, where they figure they can go 2 more years at that rate. It's bad. It's just wasn't a good way to do. All right, let's talk about additions to the budget. It's not all cut. We added a couple of things. Our environmental commission secretary, we had to add one. They've been doing a lot of stuff. It's the one, the only commission we have one, so that's a $1,500 stipend. $2,000 for some seats and some trying to get things going. And this is a big one. $20,000 for paper call. That doesn't mean each guy gets $20,000. What we're moving towards is that we're moving more towards what else does. Paper calls like for firemen to show up at controlled in the whole rigmarole that they have to go through to be able to prove and justify it and everything else. But you know, there's most of the grant, but the $20,000 is our part. You know, it's actually about $7 grand. We have a multi-year grant that's going to cover this for a bunch of years. Okay. Here's one for the binoculars. All right. This basically says where we're at, and our average home value right now is 506. We're right in this range, right there. It's hard to read. This means that on our end, it's $116 a year increase. This is still only one part of what we're talking about. I kind of made it a little bit bigger so you guys can see. Figure out kind of sort of where your house fits into the mix. But I highlighted that one because that's where we are at this point.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
can you go through? Can you give the value for the $600,000 home? It was right. It was right. It was next.
Yeah, I gotta see where the back.
130, 139.
Oh, there we go.
There it is.
139.47.
A year.
All right. Here's the other piece of the puzzle: tax rate versus assessment. Now, everyone comes in. Well, that means my tax is going to go up this second. I wish I could tell you. I don't know. Some houses went up more. Some houses went up less. You know, times your assessment, you go from there. For 2026, some went up, some went down. The town, we had an overall increase of 3.5% assessed valuation, which included 3.7 assessed value in new ratables. All right. You have to look at what percent to figure out where you're going to wind up. All right. The average house went from 483 to 506. The new average municipal bill is $3,110. That's 30%. If I had to average it out, it's hard to say. Somewhere around there. But at the end of the day, it comes out to $268 a month. Or $8.79 a day. That's what the town is paying for. You know, to go back to all those other things. The library, all the rest of it, police, fire, everything else that's not school or the county. Everything else comes out to $8.79. A couple of final points. I'd like to say that this was a cakewalk. This was not we had some brutal meetings and trying but we have to be fiscally responsible. We know what everyone's up against. Our issues that we have, all right, when you look at it, and one of the things that does come up, which is important to remember, is that state aid being zero for 10 years, and at least the net payments with what they were doing is probably the difference in $400,000 or $500,000. So that every year that they go to zero, it takes a 3.8% increase and increases it on our side. I have speculated. I can speculate on why that is, and what unions up there, you know, is forcing that. But that's where it is. But anyway, like I said before, a tough year, but we continue to discipline it. Anyway, you know what? You're already $90,000. Snow expenses. So we want to have problems. I mean, it can be a very difficult year for us. But what happens if we did no surplus this year? Next year, we have a big problem. We're going to put money in surplus. 2 years no surplus is great. Next year, what else is that? And whatever you think you save by not putting money in surplus, just costs you. You know, I was going to save this for my report, but I just want to show you something. I went to the county the other day, the state of the state, all right? And at the state of the state, if I had to explain it, I mean, it left me very disenchanted when I left, all right? One of the reasons it left me disenchanted is that they had trading cards. And these trading cards that are out there, right, tell you that you're spending your money. There's stuff for spending your money on. And it's not cheap. And I hadn't been by this since I called it all the time. I really got to take a lot of time. Unbelievable what's going on. They're putting up a statement that's going to make the statement look like, you know, and then on top of it, Middlesex is, they were giving out soda, right? Middlesex County moved here right here. This is what they give out. This is what they have at the state meeting. So they're going there. I'm sitting there thinking about the meetings that we just had, where I'm saying, we're volunteers, we're beating our brains out to try and save people money. They're spending money like before. Very disconcerting. It really is, you know? That's all I have. That's the presentation. There is going to be a public hearing on that. If you guys have a couple of quick questions you want to ask, I'm more than happy to see if I can handle them. If not, yes, Mark. Oh, do me a favor. Come on up.
Monica Townsend, 120 Barber Place. So I apologize for being late. So I probably missed a whole bunch of good stuff that you said.
We posted online very quick. So
But what is the surplus total?
1.9.
Okay. And so as of this year, we're adding 46,000.
Yes.
Okay. And is there a percentage that comes through each year for the surplus? Is it- Okay. And that's a target every, is it a fiscal year or annual, calendar year?
Yeah. I mean, basically what you're using, Monica, is the surplus at the beginning of the year is what you use to pay your bill. It's basically it's it's your rainy day fund, but
Yeah.
the bills don't come in all even, so you're kind of working off of working, it's like a working capital account.
Yeah. Okay. And again, I apologize, you may have mentioned this, but how often does the borough need to tap into the surplus for anything? And are there specific, is there a specific protocol or process before you have to tap into to the surplus? So I just wonder like what the process is for like when you have to use that money and how often.
Well, it's not very often because
Yeah.
Carolyn hasn't come to us and said we need to
Yeah.
use any.
Yeah, like
in
just the
quite a few.
the
Honestly,
protocol for that.
it would the protocol would be that the CFO would have to let us know that there's a need for it. There would probably have to be either a resolution or an amendment to the budget, and honestly, I haven't seen it happen, so I don't know. I mean, and hopefully it never happens.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Karen, can I ask you a question? What was, do you know off the top of your head what the surplus was at the end of 2019?
Good afternoon. Bruce Sanders, 10 Venice Avenue. Quick question. Last year, what was our increased percentage last year? Remember?
2.5.
So an extra 1%. I thank you for all the work you guys have done. I can't imagine trying to put together a budget numbers and all that kind of stuff. So, what kind of pressure can we put on the state? I mean, I'm sure everybody's trying to put pressure on the state to do something more. Is there anything there?
Yeah, don't vote for him.
Well, that's a good point. Okay. Middlesex County, you said, and they are probably spending like drunken sailors, as I would put it. Can we put, again, this is a don't vote for them kind of thing, or can we put pressure on them to?
You may find that there's indirectly going to be some pressure put on him in the future.
Okay, good.
We have a candidate.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So, what was my other third question? In terms of housing costs, did we, for 2026, we factored in something like, what was it, 3.5% increase in the homeowners in Middlesex Borough? I know some places in the state were down. I know some places.
Yeah, we're a little bit higher. I mean, the best way to ask that is to send a specific question, because Dawn would be the one.
Right.
She knows those numbers back and
Yeah,
forth.
I know she does. Okay.
You know, and as far as individual things, that's how it works.
Okay, so this is our 30% piece of the pie.
Yep.
Another close to 60% of the pie is at the school.
54.
Another 3 or 4 or maybe 10 is at Middlesex County, right?
15.
Okay. The school, I know what I heard from there. I wasn't at that budget meeting. I don't know if you guys know. 7.09% increase.
Right.
So, 60% of 7 and 30, it's better than I thought. I thought we were going to be at just us in the school, a 6.6% increase.
Well, like I said before, I mean, there is two parts to that. Part of it's your individual assessment.
Yeah.
So if it went up, you're going up
Yeah.
on top of everything else, because the rate will change.
Are you guys having any input into the school at all? I mean, 7% to me, they get an extra $700,000 from the state of New Jersey, and they get a 2% automatic increase, which is $1 million on a $52 million budget is what they have. So 7%, where is that money going? And I know it's not your responsibility, but is there any input into that somewhere?
We can talk about it, but there's very little input at that point. I mean, I can tell you from my level, that's gone nowhere for the past couple of years, and I'm not about the justice, not one bit.
Yeah.
They have their own issues that they have to contend with. We have our own.
Yeah. Well, there's things we can do internally to change that, but I don't know if you guys want to go there.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. I want to thank you for everything you guys did. I know I was surprised with 3.5. I was expecting it to be more like 6, but I'm glad.
Like I said, it's 3%, 3.8 increase in cost. Depends on your assessment.
Yeah.
Your assessment went up. The rate went up. Great, 23.23. So the rate that you have now went up 0.23. 0.023. Right.
It was 0.021, I think, last year, 22. Yeah, I see that.
Right, it went up. So if your assessment went up,
But that's only based on right now, assuming we get nothing from the state, and we're assuming the county is.
Well, it's not assuming we're going to get nothing from the state. We're getting nothing from the state.
How about the county? Is that
We don't know the county. We haven't gotten the county, but I got to tell you, I hope it holds the 15%.
Okay. I'm gonna thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Hey, Polakevich, 240 Hazelwood. Just want a quick explanation there. 3.86% is how much the expenditures are going up,
Correct.
and you said, I'm gathering from what I heard sitting there.
What did you say, Carol? Right.
I'm just having a little trouble with this. But then when Bruce was just talking, you said, but yes, but if your property value goes up, your bill's going up more. Everybody's property value is going up.
Not
I think.
necessarily, Dave.
Mm,
I mean,
how out of all the properties in Middlesex, what percentage would you say probably went down? 5%, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, some of the industrial properties, yes, but I'm just saying. I think that the taxes are going up higher.
Like I said before, I would tend to think at the end of the day, on average, people are going to be somewhere 7. I think maybe a little less.
Right, because
more.
Bruce was just saying, I don't know where we got the number from, but 7% for the schools. They're facing the same type of issues that we are with the health insurance skyrocketing over $1 million.
Correct.
So I would think the effect would pretty much be the same, right? I mean,
it to a certain extent, but I wish I had $775,000 in
yeah.
help.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, guys, this will all be online pretty soon. Before I go, any last questions? Because he is not going to be here at the next meeting. So if anyone has any specific questions you want to ask him while he is here, boy, you got off easy. Look at that. All right. Thank you very much for coming as per always. And you guys did a great job in Carolyn. It was no easy task to do this. I know. We definitely appreciate all the work that you put in and the committee that got involved with this, because there were a few times it got a little terse, for lack of a better thing. But it was absolutely okay. Want to read the resolution, please?
Resolution 119/2026, introduction of the 2026 municipal budget.
Have a motion? Second. All right. Any discussion? Call the vote.
Council President Conahan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark. Councilman DeSenza.
Yes.
Councilman Doty.
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn. Yes.
Okay. Here you go, Greg. You're off the hook now. All right. Oops. Oh, thank you, Greg. We do appreciate it. Okay. Let's move on to the ordinances, please.
Ordinance number 216726, an ordinance amending chapter 407, article 3, section 4076, of the municipal code of the Borough of Middlesex to include additional stop intersections.
You have a motion?
Second.
All right, any discussion on this? All right, call the vote.
Council President Conahan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza.
Yes.
Councilman Doty.
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn. Yes.
Okay, motion passes. The public hearing will be 5/12 for this. Next one.
Ordinance 2168-26, an ordinance amending Chapter 80, Section 8016 of the Municipal Code of the Borough of Middlesex to amend the promotions process.
Okay, can I have a motion?
Second.
Second. All right, any discussion?
This is just wording. If I'm not mistaken. Just cleaning up some word.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Council President Conahan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark. Yes. Councilman DeSenza.
Yes.
Councilman Doty.
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn. Yes.
Okay, last one, please.
Ordinance 2169-26, an ordinance amending Chapter 387 of the Municipal Code of the Borough of Middlesex so as to update and clarify certain provisions thereof.
Motion?
Second.
All right, any discussion? Again. 6. Anything else? No, that's okay. No. Anyone else? So call the roll, please.
Council President Conahan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark. Yes. Councilman DeSenza.
Yes.
Councilman Doty.
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn. Yes.
All right, we have no ordinances for public hearing and final adoption. The others are also for 5/12 for the public hearing. Adoption of the minutes.
Approval of the March 24th, 2026 regular meeting minutes.
Motion. Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving down the list, let's get over to the mayor's report. Well, most of what we spent our time on over the last few weeks, I have to tell you, is the budget, and going back and forth on that. I talked to you guys about the Middlesex County. That was also in there, so I kind of jumped ahead on that. But I want to let you know that the other night, we did actually have a meeting with the Board of Ed to kind of clear the air, see where we're going, and try and make nice and move things forward. Shannon Quinn is our main representative on this side. She's going to be setting up the next meetings. There's quite a little bit of protocol that has to go into all of that, and it was no easy task. I know getting that all set together, and I did my best.
It only took 35 evenings.
There you go. It's all it took. That's all right. You're just getting started. So outside of that, that's pretty much it. I know that as far as the police, that they had their assessment for their accreditation. I think we'll hear back in a couple of months how they made out. I have the utmost of confidence that you were not exactly unprepared. I would say that you were probably over-prepared knowing our chief. So when you find out, best of luck to you. For me, it's something that's been 13 years in the process waiting to come. So I can't wait. All right. Day one. Amen. Okay. That's all I have for tonight. Council President.
Thanks, Mayor. Fingers crossed for the police department. Absolutely. Sure, working out. Shannon, thank you for setting up the meeting last night. The meeting was actually last night. I was there as well, so thank you. It took a lot to get that finally put together, so thank you. I am pleased to announce that we have our next Middlesex Pillar Award recipient. It will be Cassius Kenny. Cassius is a long-time president of the then Recreation Commission. It's now called the Rec Committee. And this will be done at our next meeting, May 12th. A big thank you to the entire borough team for bringing us a responsible and fair-owned budget during the most challenging fiscal year that I've seen. I've been on the financial committee for at least for 4 years. This is was overwhelming with that $1.1 million increase for health insurance. A special thank you to our CFO, Carolyn, who's here. Thank you, Carolyn. I know the mayor said it, but we really cut everything that we just didn't do. It was a brutal year. Carolyn led the effort, but was supported by her team. Obviously, our auditor, Greg, who was here, you guys saw, but not only that, but Matt Lang. The mayor was heavily involved, and then the finance committee was led by Councilman Vicente. It was his first year, and he did an excellent job, Bill. Thank you. And then it was myself and Councilman Bill with Joe. She's not here, but I wanted to congratulate our tax assessor, Dawn Gutshow. She's being reappointed. Dawn joined us during a very, very difficult time in 22, and that was the year the state mandated that we do a reevaluation. It was her first year on the job. Dawn also does Denellen as a tax assessor, but remember, after 36 years, we were mandated for that reeval. So Dawn had a huge challenge. Since then, she's attended at least 1 or 2 meetings a year. Done a very good job for us, and I'm just glad that she's being reappointed. At our next meeting on May 12th, we will discuss amending the volunteer fee waiver ordinance that we adopted actually last spring. So that'll be done as a workshop topic. We'll talk about that as well. Also, for everyone, please join us for a ribbon cutting ceremony. We have a new business opening, Rhythm and Spice Pizzeria. It's on Saturday, May the 23rd. It's at 12 noon. It's located 571 Boundbrook Road, which is the old Romano's Pizzeria on the corner, North Lincoln. Nice job to our clerk, Kelsey. The spring newsletter came out great. Excellent job. I know. I'm glad Barbara and me are here. And Jack is not. Jack Costa, but for organizing the March 26th CPR, the free CPR training. I stopped by there before another event, and it was 3/4 full at that point. So it was another jam-packed event. We have help from the library and Medic Zero and our residents. So thank you, ladies. Thank you, Barbara. Very, very much. On to DPW. DPW completed routine road maintenance and pothole repairs. They performed several stormwater system inspections and drain cleans. They continued the brush bulk waste collection. Maintenance on our parks, fields, and municipal grounds started over the last month. Conducted vehicle and equipment maintenance, so they're actively working on our police squad cars now, and they're even working on our fire trucks. There's a lot of stuff there with the fire trucks they can't do, but the stuff they can do, they're going to start doing that as well. They completed signage repairs, installed decals. We have 2 new senior vehicles for medical trips and Meals on Wheels, I think. Transport. So those 2 vehicles look great. Hydro raking was done over the last 2 weeks at Victor Trail Park, as you saw the machine out in the lake. Lastly, our street sweeper is 20 years old and is currently down. And Lenny's working with the vendor to get a demo, like a loaner, that we can use until the new one arrives next month. So the schedule started for street sweeping by district. So if people don't see, again, it's because of that, Lenny. We're gonna be backed up a couple weeks, but yeah. So I just thank you for letting me know, Lenny, and thank you, Lenny, for everything you do. That's it.
Okay, very good. Just one quick note I did want to have on that is, as part of the budget process, we were talking about tipping fees and recycling. And sometimes if, one of the conversations came up, what are we going to do? You go by some houses, you'll see 5 things of garbage every single Monday. They're all out there. And then when the recycling comes by, they barely have a half a can, right? But the problem is, we pay whether that recycling can is full or it's empty, the exact same amount. So when they don't recycle and they throw it in the regular garbage, we're paying twice. And that's stuff that, you don't want to tell people, hey, rat your neighbor out, but it adds up. I mean, it's just money down the drain when we do things like that. And, part of the thing that we're going to do over, going forward is that we're going to try and educate people people that this costs us a lot of money, and this is, everyone's like, how much could it be? Well, it's a lot. I mean, we're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in tipping fees and everything else, and no one wants to sit there, and everyone will be crying. They'll be the first ones in line when you say you get 2 garbage cans and anything over that, you're going to start paying. And we don't want to do that, but if people are going to start taking advantage of stuff like that and not towing the line, we're going to have to change some things. I mean, that's next. I mean, that's an intermediate step before, you just have a plain old garbage charge, which we really don't want to do. We have to be smart about what we're doing. Okay, sorry. Councilwoman Clark.
So the administration for you guys to about disabled senior services. Middlesex County is going to be hosting a Anchor Plus Market celebration on the 15th from 11 to 1. Residents are requesting to form a service center to be able to register. The township will also host an AARP safe driving course on May 26th and May 28th. Again, if you're interested in registering, reach out to us. Virtual Rewards Committee, your last meeting is April 9th. We are planning on having our Color Flower Festival scheduled for May 17th from 1 to 3 in Appleton Park. This is a dog-friendly event where residents can pet dogs and enjoy the afternoon. They have a rain date of May 25th. Multicultural Day event will remain scheduled. I believe I have to talk about this, but talking through, and it felt like they wanted to keep it on the 29th for this year and looking forward to what they're doing in August 29th from 1 to 4. So with that said, there's a lot of discussion about the libraries and the the committee is also starting actively looking at the next steps for food community gardens. Our last meeting was able to discuss potential support and honestly projects that we consider feasible. We went to the next step to today from Carlos with the garden shopper just to see how they do things because some of the towns are with separate things, a little bit cleaned up and stuff. And when I looked over it, it looked very good. They were very yes, so they really like how it did. So we definitely going to take steps towards seeing how to make that progress and happen. We have set the target date of April 22nd, 2027 in order to approve the mailing at the appropriate next meeting. Some of our upcoming meetings for that committee are going to focus on our fundraising efforts. Not very, like, essentially. And we kind of want to think about those to be on other line of the budget. So we really want to focus on doing what we can to make sure we can fundraise for things. The next meeting is scheduled on May 14th. Bill Committee, their last meeting was on March 19th. Committee is currently focused on establishing a social media presence. Coordination is underway with the township's social media representative to ensure proper setup. I just want to make sure we have all of our social media on the front, which is so important. It's how we get our word out there so we can be an official site for government and whatnot. Council's not against assisting in making this connection. I don't know if yet, but I wanted to do that relatively soon and be able to activate that in order to find out what we're doing next. The group is also going to be working on a visual catalog. It's kind of a stifle right now because we're looking for certain projects and stuff that we want to do. Right. So just getting into the sunshine to here. So the next meeting is going to be this Thursday.
All right, thank you. Councilman Senza.
Yes, the library had a small leak in the roof, but the contractor came in and took care of it right away. That's where the issue. But we do have a problem with electric housing companies. Yeah, we really, might say, we shouldn't be using that word. All the outlet covers, the missing cover points. You have children in there participating in the community, for the community.
Is that the vendor? They're supposed to be doing that. No.
No, I don't know what happened to the original covers, but they're not there, and that is a potential problem in the community.
We can take care of it.
The sprinklers are complete, waiting for final approval. Okay. Environmental, May 2nd is cleanup at Mountain View Park, for Greenbrook, sponsored by the AmeriCorps Watershed Ambassadors. We're looking for volunteers, anybody wants to help. Big one, everybody's talked about it, is the municipal budget. Numerous budget reviews by council representatives, our business administrators, the mayor, and the CFO, which has passed the $16.991 billion budget at 3.8% increase over 25. As you heard, home assets assessed at $500,000 will see a municipal tax increase, of $116 a year. Doesn't include the county, doesn't include the school. Municipal, what we control. It was a big undertaking, many hours. Where we started, I think it was a great accomplishment. A special thanks to our super CFO, Carolyn Benson. We owe these borough employees a big thank you for their hard work. Really terrific example of pulling together for a common cause. Parks, we want to congratulate our new chairperson, Amy Thornton, and vice chair, Rich Thomas, and offer our support. We're looking for some new volunteers to assist the committee. If you're interested, please contact our administrators. Parks, temperature's over 55 degrees. I think it was 90 today.
Down, it's being dark tonight.
If it was, it would definitely.
That's all I have.
All right, very good. Councilman Doty.
Yes, Mayor, I have a couple of reports I can go through real quick. Fire department for March, 24 calls. I don't know if I've ever seen the number that small for a month. 24 calls. 2 structural involvements, 1 vehicle fire. They had electrical line arcing malfunction 2, motor vehicle collision 2, gas leak, gas odor 4, fire smoke alarm 9. That was probably their biggest thing, but I don't know if I've ever seen anything that small. Years. Yeah, we'll take usually up around 50. A couple of highlights that Chief wanted me to go over is 24 calls. They conducted their yearly scheduled maintenance on the ladder and hose testing. We also had 3 recruits start fire, 1 training at Middlesex County Fire Academy. They also took part in CPR recertification training for members. On the 3rd, they were dispatched to reported fire from a solar panel. They arrived on the scene. They saw smoke on the side of the building. They got it under control quickly and put it out with dry chemicals. March 6th, they were requested in Denellen for a structure fire. We had 2 units go over there, and they were sent to the rear of the structure to advance a hose line into the rear of the building toward the seat of the fire on divisions 2 and 3. 5 minutes into the assignment, crews were evacuated because the building became unstable, so they were fighting it from outside, and they worked the scene for, I guess a couple of hours, what the chief had told me. He didn't put exactly, and then they were released by Danellen, and they did the final cleaning. So we were also on standby for them because they had everything they had over there. March 17th, around midnight, they responded to a reported tree down in a residence with live power wires and an active gas leak. Upon arrival, they found the gas main to the home had been struck, causing natural gas to vent. They were able to make their way through the brush, find the shutoff, and secure the gas, thank God. And due to the weather this evening, the area was taped off. The utilities were advised to make service when available because apparently the weather was really crappy that night. And there was one resident temporarily displaced. On the 17th and 18th, the fire police were requested. First time I've gotten one of these reports in a long time. Requested to assist with the traffic detail on William Street and Blackford due to high winds that came through in the early morning hours. Multiple trees and wires in the area were down, mixed with delayed response times from utilities working to clean up the hazards. Road blockades were necessary. Fire police took up the positions of patrol vehicles, helping free up patrol vehicles to respond to emergencies within the borough. I believe. Were you on that, Lee? No, I forget who. Yeah, he said he was there for about hours, you know, just guarding it. So you never hear nothing about the fire police. That's a first in a long time. I also have the court report that she sent over. March 2026. Tickets and complaints: 249 tickets, 17 parking violations, 232 moving violations, 13 DWIs. Total complaint activity: 13 criminal complaints, warrant or summons. 50 local ordinance violations, 0 health tickets, 45 zoning issues. 4 court sessions, 6 court sessions. So we got a couple extra ones last month. 3 in person, 3 virtual. 322 defendants. 389 cases deposed of this month. 7 DWIs deposed. Total monies collected: 38,447.75, and the borough's portion is 22,348.67. Yeah. Yes, they're trying to catch up. Yes, it's working a little bit. You see the numbers; they're holding steady, but that's because our code enforcement too. Everybody has that on the report if they look to see open cases, which people putting on the force. I'd like to say to Barbara again, as usual, any event that you do seems to be a hit. So that's why that you sort of. Yep. It's a team. Yep. I know OEM, they step up and they all help you out. They ask about uniforms, everything for all the events. It's crazy. You know, we have the meetings. And keep your eyes peeled because I'm sure she's got more in store for this year. Yes.
They read the money out too for the entire event. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. As far as the budget, Caroline, I had a conversation with you after the fact and just asked you if it was responsible. We weren't killing ourselves for years down the line because we've done that in the past. And I'm trying to claw back out. It's crazy. Okay. 2 administrators for talking to literally every department, getting everybody to give a little piece. My chairperson, Joe, awesome, on top of it from the beginning. Mike and the mayor, appreciate it. It was a long process and hours sitting in there. You know, it wasn't easy to do what we had to do. What are we going to do? We just can't raise taxes. We really be getting stuff thrown at us. Bad enough as it is. Yeah, I don't want the soda. Maybe we can get the extra soda and hand it out from them or sell it or something to make some money. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Bruce is not here. Councilwoman.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. The Board of Health met on 4/9 here in Borough So the discussion is still going on with the pop-up IV clinics, and I got some information I'd like to share about what they are and the issues that we've been facing. So pop-up IV infusion clinics are local or temporary services that provide IV fluids and vitamin treatments outside traditional healthcare settings. They can go to homes, they can do it in hotels, event spaces, and these services are typically marketed for wellness purposes and operate on a cash pay basis. Because IV therapy is an invasive medical procedures, these services raise concerns relating to patient safety, proper licensing, medical oversight, sanitation, and emergency preparations. Operation in non-medical settings may also create issues with zoning, business license, and consumer protection. So the issue is with public clinics, they operate in a gray area between healthcare and wellness services, and local oversight may be appropriate to ensure public safety, accountability, and compliance with municipal standards. So the next part is the Board of Health is working with our lawyer on coming up with an ordinance, and then bring it to the next meeting. So that's just an update. The last comment is that the committee is working on an ordinance with their lawyer, and then the ordinance would come back to council, but they're still working on it because there's a lot to discuss with this. It's fairly new, so that's where we're at.
Anything else?
That's all I have there. And then I just want to talk briefly that we had the Board of Ed meeting last night with the council. It's the first time we met since 2022. The meeting took place at the Ely Conference Room from 6:30 to 7:30. I'd like to thank the mayor, council president, Mike Conahan, and Chief Dice Money for attending the meeting with me. I'd also like to thank board member Jeremiah Carr. He is the liaison on the Board of Ed side. Thank him for helping get this meeting facilitated. The meeting, it was more of like an introductory back to working on a relationship forward, and I think we did clear the air, and I hope that we can take this momentum and keep working together. We formed the shared service committee and discussed communication and future meeting dates, and we're hoping that the next meeting would be in mid-May. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, good. Thank you. Time for the administrator report.
Yes, sir. Just before I start on my report, I just want to thank the mayor, our council, our finance committee, Caroline Benson, Greg Katzer, our consultant Luna, our auditor, Lenny Dow, administrator, really worked a lot of fun and this budget this year. To say it was challenging, it's understandable. And I know everyone did their best to get it done. I think it's important to just go back to 2025 on a couple of important parts to this year's budget that saved us a considerable amount of money. And that was back in the beginning of 2025 when the mayor had basically said we need to look at the concept and change our health care. So that excludes the momentum that got things moving as far as savings realized this year. Also, our council president would thought on Christmas Day. When the mayor did that in 2025, it wasn't Lenny and I were in place, but on Christmas Day we were. To see that email to say that we're going to start a health insurance plan in January, have the forethought to do this process already. That saved us an awful lot of money. So it was a pleasure to go to that high cup. It was a pleasure to work on that together, but to see it unfold. As far as our report for this week, New Jersey American Water is in the process of replacing water main on Greenlawn Avenue between Oak and George. The water main is in the area, has been giving them a hard time during the last year. As a result, New Jersey American Water is out replacing the entire
you want to talk about the Mountain Park playground up there?
Yeah, it's good. Not the park playground, so, final rubberized material is all on Friday, April 2nd, that doesn't mean you get on, so, throw that out there. Special plans, police department, and Department of Public Works, Department of Security, and, trying to do that. But, we are waiting for contractors, all railing, not covered, contractor, clearly, contract,
When do you hope to have that railing installed? So we still don't know.
Correct. So I'm waiting on
How many porta potties do we have there? This one?
that will go away. Anytime our show is done, not a lot of fun, but if wants to check it out, not a lot. We saw it today, stepped on it, it's under. All three of them, flexible. Already placed rubberized material in this area, the center playground, and the top lot of obviously there's still a lot of work to be done.
Can you touch on the temporary management?
Temporary debris management area, the borough received a certification for temporary debris management area, DMA, which identifies the area utilized for dumping solid waste, including disaster emergency. The certification is located at the minefield and not the park. The Department of Environmental Protection certification expired in February 2031. So, there's a storm that's stored there. Whatever.
Just one more thing. So, because you had something about that.
The borough independent contractor as a result, the borough has to proposal to independent contractor process with the call on
When they do that?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
In other news, PSE&G contacted the borough of Spalding Lane regarding tree donation to replace those removed near utility lines. Lenny provided a list of 9 affected areas. PSE&G will be supplying 2-inch caliber utility-friendly trees, including red bud trees, American dogwood trees, and cherry varieties. Residents may see a PSE&G contractor marking locations in the near future. The affected streets are Decatur Avenue, Fairview Avenue, Washington Avenue, Orchard Road, Melrose Avenue, Green Avenue, Seneca Avenue, Voorhees Avenue, and London Avenue. Our police department, the Middlesex Police Department, is partnering with the DEA to support their National Prescription Take Back Initiative, which is April 25th, 2026, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The goal of DEA National Prescription Drug Take Back is to provide local communities with a safe, convenient, and responsible way to dispose of expired, unused, and unwanted medications, while also educating the public about the dangers of medications use. So the doors will be open April 25th from 10 to 2. Bring anything you want besides sharps and medications.
Will be open anytime before or after?
It's 10 to 2 on Saturday,
That's it?
April 25th. Yes, sir. We do it twice a year.
I know, we, and I have some,
The other was
We'll figure it out. We'll talk offline, Council. There's other locations too. There's drop boxes scattered down below that have open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Our Middlesex Recreation Department, as mentioned, they had their run hop. It was held on March 28th from 10 to 12. It was really well attended. Children had a great time. They had a petting zoo, egg hunt, games, crafts, photos with the Easter Bunny. Our Recreation Department really did a fantastic job with this event, and I suggest if you didn't attend this year, point to put it on your calendar for next year. The Environmental Commission, the Middlesex Environmental Commission, is celebrating a special Earth Day community cleanup event being held at Victor Cole Park on April 25th, 2026, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Our Environmental Commission is really active, doing a lot of nice things. We welcome the community to come out and join us April 25th from 9 to 12. And, lastly, the Memorial Day Parade. We're going to talk about this until we have it, but it's our 250th celebration. It's going to be Monday, May 25th. We want everyone to be a part of this special day. March in the parade, create a float, decorate a vehicle, or take part in festivities. It's a great way to honor and celebrate and bring our community together. Donations and sponsors are welcome. If anyone's interested, contact our Recreation Department by May 1st. 2 weeks away at 732-356-7400, extension 277. You can email at recreation@middlesexborough-nj.gov. So Mayor, that's my report. That's our report.
All right, good. Thank you. I always am amazed by how much unused tills are run in. How that was it like a couple 100 pounds or 100 and something?
Seems to get bigger every year. Yeah, each year it's hundreds of pounds. So it's good.
Well, when Joe shows up, it might be 3.
Set a new record.
He's going to put you over the top. Sorry, you were asking.
That's okay. It's okay.
Okay, let's move on to the privilege of the floor. Like a motion to open.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any questions? Come on up.
Monica Townsend, 120 Barber Place. Thank you all again for your reports. Just had a few questions. I wondered about the Pillar of Middlesex and how the selection process goes.
The selection process for the Pillar of Middlesex basically is it's the selection process is who I decide should get a pillar. I do consult. Sorry, I mean
Kind of mayor's choice.
It's a mayor's discretion thing. I do consult with the members of the council, and basically they solicit and we talk about it. And it's volunteer, and we basically, a lot of times someone will solicit, and right away, this is the right way. Perfect, done.
Okay, so there's no nomination or application process.
Nope, but if you think you know somebody, I have taken nominations from the outside, for consideration. That has happened.
Okay, thank you. I wondered about the pop-up IV clinic again. Was that a request made to come into the borough to do that?
Not as right now, but this is coming from the county level for us to be looking at them possible.
Oh, okay. So we're not like preparing for it because somebody said they wanted to do a pop-up IV.
They're
Right.
soliciting, right?
They are soliciting, but I don't think anything's been solicited.
All right, thank you. And one, I appreciate that the board and the borough and the council are meeting. I'm surprised to hear that there's been no meeting since 2022. Was that the same superintendent in 2022 that we have right now?
No.
Okay. And I imagine the council changed as well, right? So we have new council members and we have new school board members.
Exactly.
From then.
It was like just a totally new group of people.
Yeah, it's the first meeting of a larger group. I mean, there have been groups that have met. I know the council president's been over there and met with them a couple times. I for sure have had a couple of meetings with Dr. Freeman, but a first big formal, let's clear the air type of meeting. Well, this one was also for a specific purpose, which is getting a shared service agreement completed.
Okay. So will there be ongoing meetings scheduled? Have you all worked out like a meeting schedule to kind of talk about
We don't
shared
have a
services
meeting
and more?
schedule. Yeah, as of right now, we don't have a meeting schedule. We are gonna work throughout mid-May, and we have to get, the agreements together, and we have a lot of work to do. So I'm not sure if we'll be able to schedule ahead, but I will definitely inform the public, when we're having meetings, and we'll report back.
And again, this is the full council and the full school board members?
No, it is a committee. So on our side, it's myself, the mayor, Councilman Monahan, Chief Lenny, and on their side, we have Dr. Freeman, their business administrator, the director of facilities, board member Sharon Schuler, board member Amanda Bayachek, Mike O'Donnell, and also their liaison, board member Jeremiah Collins.
Okay.
No problem.
Anybody else?
Dave Polakevich again, just follow up on the last question. At the meeting, this group that's meeting, it's from the borough, it's Mrs. Quinn, the mayor, Mr. Conahan, Chief Geist, and who was it, Lenny? Lenny was there, and then from the school board, it was Mr. Carnes, Dr. Freeman, the business administrator, the director of facilities, board member Schuler, board member Bayachek, and Mike O'Donnell, who I guess is the director of athletics.
Yeah, just so you know, the Justin and the Jack, there were two, the director of facilities and Chief, help me out, who's the other guy? They were and Justin, yeah, they were not at the first meeting, but they will be.
But they will be there.
Yeah, these are the committee we formed.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bruce Sanders, 10 Minutes Avenue. We talked about the budget that you just did. Can you speak to any shared services that we've discovered or we're working on, or in terms of other boroughs in the area? I know we do something with salt and stuff like that. I think it is.
Well, I mean, with respect to shared services, we're trying to share more as we go. One of the items that we do share, I wouldn't say it's per se a shared service, but with the Boundbrook Rescue Squad, we have sort of like an ad hoc agreement with them that they get, because our rescue squad here has such a limited, window. Our first call is to Boundbrook, and then it goes to Robert Johnson. I believe that's the right order.
They were just on my street this week, so yeah, found them.
And the health department.
I gather you guys have benchmarked with other towns, and I would suggest maybe using that information to help pat yourself on the back a little bit. I heard Flemington and some other towns were increasing their budget by 12%. Okay.
Just through it. Tony Hunt is the mayor of Flemington, so.
Okay, so
So she would not allow that. As we roll.
okay, well, I heard other communities in the area are as much as 11 or 12%. So I'm wondering if you guys shouldn't, in terms of benchmarking, look at some other communities. What are they doing in terms of their budgets? And
Honestly, we try. I mean, we have the. We do.
yeah, I'm sure you do.
We do. I mean, I know one that their budget introduction is within 10 miles was 23%. Most of them were 10. There was another one that was 12. And then more importantly, I know like some of our, like when we were talking about debt at 0.7. Some of our very close neighbors are at 2.8 or 2.6, 1.25. I mean, we're one of the few that are actually under 1.
But you should use that to say, hey, we're doing a good job. Look at other areas.
You know what? We can do that, but
Okay.
we tend to stand on our own record because we're not about throwing other people under
No,
the bus.
I
We
get
try not to at any
No,
rate,
no.
but yeah, I mean, in terms of the other budgets that are out there, yeah, there's a lot worse. A lot worse. And, you know, we came up with something that's reasonable. We're hoping that, you know, what we really need is we need the state to get involved and handle stuff like the health, the pensions, and some of their funding formulas, because we're at their mercy. There's nothing we can do. They just give you a number, you know.
Just
No.
thinking off the top of my head, is there anything at the county level that we could use here to look at shared services more? I mean, just throwing it out there, is there somebody at the county level looks at, I mean, they're looking at everybody's budget, and, you know, if you think about it, if you order things on a bigger picture frame, you get it at cheaper cost. So is there anybody at county levels looking, I don't even know who to go to, but I mean, is there an idea there that,
I mean, if you really look at shared services, I mean, that's the nature of like these GIFs and stuff like that. It's a communal thing where they basically all get together. They have purchasing consortiums and a bunch of different things like that. I mean,
are we looking into that at all? Or?
are we? More to state.
Yeah, Bruce, so we've actually taken those steps for instance, right, we've had a certain we split it that not like last year, right? So we split that cost. And again, we never this comes up on basis of that, or we do it. And I do miss it. We don't want it anymore. And we get snow and we check and nothing, you know, no flowers, nothing.
I'm looking at.
You're out, Lenny.
No letters or nothing, but yeah,
Okay.
we had those close relationships with all these other townships. I had close relationships with Danville, with the county as well, but on their level.
So can we go across county, like, to do something?
You know,
You do.
Board of
You
Health.
do.
Yeah.
Or two.
Right.
We do.
All right. I just
And dispatch. We do.
Yeah. So I mean, we do look at these. I mean, you know, I can't talk about some of these other ones, but I can tell you that we've had many conversations that some of these regulations need to change so we can be more aggressive on some of the needs that we see. Maybe not today, but down the road are going to become a real issue, and we want to be ahead of the curve on that. You know, we don't want to be the last one to the party. We want to be the first one, because I think that's going to make all the difference. Anybody else?
Vincent Rouse, 60 Washington Avenue. Wanted just to get up and say, Mayor and Council, I stand before you today to share about our recent No Kings rally here in Middlesex Borough. And I'm grateful to report that it was a great success, and it was not a platform of hate or division, but it was a peaceful and respectful demonstration and of residents exercising our right to be heard. At its core, this gathering reflected a fundamental principle. The people should always have a voice. Many in attendance came simply to express their perspectives on how our government is being run, understanding that what happens at a national level often has an impact on the local community. I want to take a moment to sincerely thank the Chief of Police and the Middlesex Borough Police Department. Their presence ensured that the event remained safe and orderly. While there were a few individuals who attempted to disrupt the atmosphere, the situation was handled with professionalism and the safety of all attendees was maintained. What stood out most was the sense of community. Families came together, children were present, enjoying simple activities like blowing bubbles and making bracelets, reminding us that even in moments of civic engagement, there's room for unity and joy. Additionally, many tubes of canned goods were collected and donated to a local charity, demonstrating that this was not just about speaking, but also about serving. This is what community looks like: people coming together, expressing themselves peacefully, and caring for one another. Also wanted to be clear, I respect differing viewpoints in a community that we live in is very diverse, and that respect must continue to go both ways. Middlesex Borough has an opportunity to continue setting the standard as a place where all people are valued, regardless of color, religion, race, gender, or sexual orientation. My hope is that we continue to foster an environment where voices can be heard without fear, where disagreements do not lead to division, and where we remain committed to the well-being of every resident in this town. In closing, I respectfully urge this governing body to continue supporting spaces where civic engagement can occur safely, respectfully, and constructively. Let us remain committed to the principles that strengthen our community: mutual respect, open dialogue, shared responsibility, and the common good. Thank you for this time. Have a great night.
Okay, anybody else? All right, thank you for your comments, everybody. I need a motion to close.
Motion. Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, time for the new business.
Resolution 120-2026, authorizing the appointment of Dawn Gutschel as tax assessor. Resolution 121-2026, authorizing the 2026 municipal budget to be read by title only. Resolution 122-2026, acceptance of standing reports. Resolution 123-2026, authorizing the mayor to execute the marketing and public relations support services agreement with Positive Solutions. Resolution 124-2026, 2026 temporary emergency appropriations. Resolution 125-2026, approval of the reimbursement of $75 to Planet Fitness, 125 Boundbrook Road, Middlesex, New Jersey, for overpayment on their 2025-2026 Board of Health license. Resolution 126-2026, approval of temporary emergency appropriations. Resolution 127-2026, authorizing the tax collector to issue a tax title lien redemption for Block 50, Lot 14. Resolution 128-2026, acknowledging the changing status for certain properties under the Senior Citizen Disabled Person Tax Deductions. Resolution 129-2026, authorizing the tax collector to issue a tax title lien redemption for Block 99, Lot 2601. Resolution 130-2026, authorizing added lien tax for the cleanup costs incurred from violations of the Property Maintenance Code. Resolution 131-2026, resolution in support of allocating and securing funding for the Denellen Train Station Modernization Project. Resolution 132-2026, approving the reimbursement of late fees that were incorrectly applied to Board of Health license renewals.
Okay, we need any of these pulled? No? Okay, motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion on these? Okay, pull the roll, please.
Council President Conahan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza.
Yes.
Councilman Doty.
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Non-consent agenda.
Resolution 133-2026, pay all claims.
Motion.
Second.
Second. Any discussion on these? Okay, pull the roll, please.
Council President Conahan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark. Councilman DeSenza.
Yes.
Councilman Doty.
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn.
Yes.
Okay, we do have a workshop item tonight. It's e-bikes. I believe, Chief, are you taking us through this one? I am. You are. Okay.
Right, so we had some concerns, we had some complaints from residents about e-bike scooter operations, mostly in our parks, mostly on sidewalks or in areas that are, popular, that are not, we're not allowed to drive over. There's an awful lot of e-bike traffic that come to Middlesex and surrounding areas. We thought it would be important to draft an ordinance, state law, and some of the state laws did come through. So the draft ordinance summary basically covers both
park has cars that drive the park. It's actually okay to drive, but it's full. The traffic. That's one of the parts where we had. There's a lot of damage to the park. Getting there is pretty powerful. Electric bicycles. We had some young men and women who were involved in crashes in town. Some of them had pedestrians or passengers and riders were advocating for that. So we just want to kind of put some restrictions in place. It also restricts direct supervised driving and, like I said, more passenger restrictions. Those are kind of new things for our ordinance. We put a draft ordinance together. We have copies in front of you. I have been able to changes we have to do this to just for seating, for formatting, improve further with this. But basically the definitions, I'll take the high points of this. No other bicycles, no crosswalk, covered borders, Segway, there's power, averages, one horsepower for some of these things. Low speed electric bicycles, class 1 and 2 of these, it's a low speed electric bicycle. This is one of the less than 750 watts that provides assistance only when the driver is pedaling, and that ceases to provide assistance when the vehicle device reaches a speed of 1 mile an hour. Electric motor, less than 750 watts, is exclusively propelled device that cannot be provided assistance to the vehicle that reaches a speed of 1 mile an hour. So low speed or electric bicycle, low speed electric bicycle basically only goes up to 20 miles an hour. Electric motorized bicycle, you can reach speeds greater than 20 miles an hour. So now those are the two that are required by law. Prohibited from taking up to 15, between 15 and 16 in permit or license requirements. 17 plus driver's license. Registration and insurance now. All crashes involved in that. The last page of that, this is going to bring exactly what the law is. It's kind of a nice setup for help us understand it. Like the low speed electric bicycle, motorized bicycle, when we need to starting January 2026. I will tell you that our officers are out there in several complaints of young adults or children out in the street, in the middle of the street, blocking traffic, doing wheels down the middle of the street. I have video that's been sent to me of our children on active road base with traffic in both directions, and they're driving down the Route 28, standing on their hands out, electric bicycle at a speed that would be unsafe. It's wheels. We've had hundreds of kids and young adults drive from Downbrook, Middlesex, Glen Ellen, Scotch Plains, blocking traffic, causing a lot of issues without any having our police officers have to pull them over. Luckily, a lot of them had social media videotape themselves running from our police officers. So we were able to identify several actors from that, and we were able to issue summonses. And we think there's being compliance. We have an obligation to keep our children safe. We have an obligation to keep our young families or elderly, special needs, handicapped folks who are using sidewalks and the parks. The woman called me very upset because she lived in the park. A young man did a wheelie very close to her on an electric bicycle, and she told me that he shouldn't do that, and he needs to do it somewhere else. Had some not very kind words to say bicycle. She's really upset by this. She loves the park. She likes to relax. She just feels like it's a problem. So I think we're intelligent with this. We issue many warnings. We're talking to kids. I urge the public to see children, young adults doing things that are dangerous. Call the police department. We're very happy to go out and check on them and make sure that they're doing
one of the things that I see as a potential issue is that I don't think a lot of these parents have the slightest idea that on July 19th, 2026, that their kid can get pulled over for not having an insurance card or the license or any of these things that are required.
And it's supposed to be registered on top.
It's like the moped car.
Right.
So, but they're very fast. The moped can do 25 miles an hour. Some of these license
25. I've seen a couple doing about 40.
38 or plus.
They can catch, with 40 miles an hour plus.
We have a statute.
I don't even think, honestly, Joe, it's not the problem with the. I mean, obviously, a kid doing 48 miles an hour, but I think a lot of these parents don't realize that you got one of these things that you just bought from Kmart or wherever. Kmart, too. Walmart.
That would be a moped, Mayor.
How about Great Eastern?
A Great Eastern.
Two guys.
Two guys, Caldor, Rickles. A lot of these people that buy their kid an e-bike that they either bought online or whatever, and they don't realize that they need all this stuff, and their kid goes taking off, and he thinks, hey, I got you this great birthday present. Oh, by the way, 3 days later, the kid does something, inappropriate. Next thing you know, there's one of your guys standing at the door. Oh, by the way, your kid got a ticket for this, got a ticket for that, and by the way, you don't have an e-bike anymore.
Yeah, what happens if they don't have the registration? It's covered.
Good.
It's in the state statute.
But we also need to be careful.
We need an education.
That's part of the plan.
Because
Actually, this is part of the plan.
I don't think half of the people know the
I know that, but also on top of it, and that's why I do think the education is fine. Is I don't think these kids realize, because how many times and I guarantee all of you have seen there, when you pull up to a stop sign, you and your car are stopping, and then bikes are just rolling around the corner doing the Jersey slide, and that you can get a ticket for that. I mean, by rights, they are supposed to obey all the rules of the road. So the purpose of our ordinance is to do what, in addition to and/or supplant the state laws that are already in place.
Create safe recreational areas, sidewalks.
So we're defining where they can ride. So walking areas are going to be just walking areas. Okay. So what's So what are the next steps? I'm sorry.
Officers have discretion. They're very responsible. Some cases we've seen this far, they've let them far more money. It's about adjusting behaviors. It's not about finding. You want to make sure they're safe. It's not about
tell you, like, the officers use discretion, but my son was involved. I was the chief of police. My son was involved in a car accident. He was 17 or 18 years old. He was at fault. There was an injury as a result. I told my staff to write this up. He did. He went to Denellen, put a suit on, went through the process, took money out of savings, he paid the fine, he went home, we took a safety class, and they took the two points off his license, and my son's never been stopped, involved in another car accident. I think he's more responsible, he's a safer driver because of that responsibility and lesson. I didn't pay a dime, but he did, and we figured it out. It was a good life's lesson for him. It was a good tool for him. Just because his father's a police officer doesn't mean that
Well, I think, like you said before, these are the type of things that are going to be on a case-by-case basis. You know, I would suggest that as part of the rollout or the information phase that you utilize our relationship with the schools, because I think that's a great place to have them put it on their websites and disseminate it, because, you know,
before summer ends, that's a great idea in December. Dr. Freeman, she puts stuff on the newsletter, but we can say, hey, parents, take pictures.
by the way,
Does your child would like to do research? Because the education is very important for enforcement. A lot of things we do as a police department, we educate. So this will be part of it.
oh yeah, and trust me, in my opinion, they need a lot of education, because I see them breaking a lot of rules, and I see, more importantly, I see a ton of them with no help.
If we didn't do anything, we sit here and have some child injured or killed for that.
It's all fun and games until it's not fun and games. Sanford.
She's right, it could still be.
It's a good place to remind them, oh, by the way.
That is, people on the road, right? Coming from prison, these are really nice. So, these are great things,
All right, we're good? Good? Okay, guys, I'd like to open up the floor for privilege of the floor on the agenda workshop. Need a motion? Second. All in favor? All right. Anyone wishing to speak? Come on up.
So, question about the workshop, right? I can ask.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I just wondered what the kind of mindset of Councilwoman about the fees and the fines. I didn't hear what the fine would be for someone who would be in violation of this ordinance. And I'm wondering if that is on par with other ordinances of our size, and based on the amount of calls that you said you've already been addressing.
I think it would have to be relative to what would happen if you were driving a car with it. It's basically a traffic.
So I would say the same thing about what you said, Mayor, about the education, and I know Chief said the same thing, that the education piece is very important. And I understand it's a state law, but we're also making our own ordinance to make sure that folks are safe here. But I think with anything that's new and different, that there needs to be that education piece so that the community is aware. Because I agree with you, they're probably not aware by July, whatever that date is, that they have to comply to, the law.
Yeah. The law actually is in place already.
Okay, so our ordinance would be July. Is that
No.
what you're saying?
The law is in place already, but they're basically put like a little grace period in there.
Until July 19th.
Oh, okay.
State did.
The state gave a grace
Yeah.
period. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for that clarification. But yeah, so I would just say the education piece, I think is highly, highly important, and to make sure that parents are aware and understand. I would, if the fee can be adjusted and come down and then reviewed later on next year, and see where the ordinance is, to see what the violations look like, because I am concerned that, these are young kids who are having the bikes, but the parents are the ones responsible, probably buying the bikes for them. So the fee might sound nominal to us, but might be a hardship for somebody else. So I would just recommend and consider kind of looking at those fees for anybody that's in violation. But I'm just going to emphasize again about the education piece, what I think is critical for something like this.
Right, thank you. And I think it was addressed with the station house.
Discussion station house.
Yeah. Because if so is in a hard chat. We're not looking to burn anybody. We're looking to.
And I also don't want them, and I understand safety is important, and I totally agree with that, but I also don't want it to be criminalizing youth behavior, which is normal for them to be excited, to ride bikes. And I know these are different kinds of bikes than our bikes back in the day, but also, right, kind of like you said, the moped.
Like when you go up to Kmart.
And I know, right, the Kmart bike. So I know they're different. I just don't want to be in the mindset that
No, we're not here.
criminalizing youth behavior.
We're not here to take basically kids and turn them into criminals. We're here to educate them and try and do the right thing by them. And I think our police are very good at reacting to that. I mean, they'll everything's an individual situation, and listen, we've all been there, or at least I have when I was young. The police officers say, "Go home. Don't let me catch you again." Okay, got it. And that would be it.
These are good points, Mrs. Townsend. The violation of penalty fees does say not to exceed $200.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It's different.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Bruce Sanders, 10 Minutes Avenue. I agree. This was the moped of our day. Definitely was a moped of our day. I think the fine fee is, you're saving a life. I've seen these guys on 28. In fact, I provided one of the videos of the guy on the handlebar standing and doing the, right down 28, right in front of the back. If he hit a pothole, he's toast. And if the car behind him. So a $200 fine to save a life, if it came to $200, in my opinion, it's a good deal. Thirdly, it is education. And one of the ideas I have, because, this is coming up, I think that's a beautiful little flyer. We know the two hangout. I could tell you where the two hangouts are. Number one, Wendy's. Number two, the shopping center. They hang out in that area, and they're doing wheelies and all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, I know the parks are another. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh really? Well, I told the chief the last meeting coming here. A guy went on Mountain Avenue, and from the library or the rescue squad, past the drive coming in here, the guy did a wheelie all the way down. I was right behind him. I tried flashing the lights. I'm like, what are you flashing the lights for? Mirror. So I'm beeping at him. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So you're saving a life, and you're not only saving a life, you're saving an insurance policy, you're saving everything. Yeah, yeah. So one other thing in terms of the education, I think that's very important. We have the schools right now in session. You have that flyer. I mean, my thought would be take the flyer, have a few cops hand it out to those guys. If you know, an unmarked car, hand it out to them. Say, hey, just so you're aware, hand it out to them at Wendy's. You have the schools in session. They have morning announcements. Have the flyers to Margaret School and at the high school, and doing a morning announcement of what we're talking about here before they go back out of school, so they're aware of it at the very least. And finally, I know back in my day, behind the high school football stadium, we used to have trails where we used to take the bikes, and I believe there probably were mopeds back then, and jump and all kinds of stuff. Probably wasn't right, but what are we doing, or could we do something somewhere where they can do wheelies on a road in the park? My thought would be the U behind the tennis courts, but I don't want to open that up. I'm just saying, is there an outlet where they can use those bikes? I don't know what we can do there, or is there an idea we could talk about? But I would get the education.
Yeah, that one there would be kind of difficult to do, because then, unless we all know the insurance companies rule the world, and like an insurance company is not going to sanction, hey, by the way, you know, we want to have a little Evel Knievel park set up over here. Well, and I'm sure they'll be on. Okay, anybody else? Okay, motion to close. Second. All right, we are going to go to executive session. No action tonight. I didn't think so. And our next meeting is on May 12th. All right, motion. Second. Roll call, please.
Council President Connie.
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark. Yes. Councilman DeSantis.
Yes.
Councilman Mooney.
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Guys, we're going to take a quick 5-minute little break before we finish up. Everyone who came, thank you. Have a great night.